On 13th of November of 2015, at around 9:16 p.m., 3 suicide bombers struck outside the National Stadium of France in Paris during a football match. That was followed by several mass shootings and a suicide bombing. 130 people died and over 400 people were injured. It was the deadliest attack in France since the Second World War. The entire world was frightened. Many world leaders issued statements condemning the attacks and vowing to stand by and support France. But did you know that roughly 3 times that number of French citizens died on the same day from cancer? You haven't heard about that not a single news channel talked about it, even though that the number of people died was 3 times higher. And that's because people die all the time from cancer. It's not breaking news, unlike an insane man running and shooting people all around and blowing himself up. And that's the problem with the news. News channels are not there to deliver you authentic news that matters, but rather they focus on events that would grab the most attention. They talk about things that would make you feel emotional and watch more of that. That's why when you watch the news, it feels like the world is a horrible place. People are getting crazy all around the world because telling people that they are more likely to die by a TV or a furniture falling at them than a terrorist act isn't as frightening as mass shooting. Here in the West or the United States, people are more afraid of terrorists than cars. But if you look at the statistics, you will give it another thought. From 1975 through the end of 2016, 3,500 people have been killed by all terrorists, while over 37,000 people have been killed in car accidents in 2017 alone. But no one is shouting that we should abandon cars. Here is another fun fact. You are twice more likely to be killed by an animal than a terrorist. But news that we should get rid of dogs and cats isn't going to get a lot of attention. And you can't really blame them for that. It's not cheap to run a newspaper. You've got to hire writers, editors, graphic designers, journalists, reporters, buy a lot of expensive equipment, and rent a giant office for everyone to work in. Someone has to pay for all of that. And since we are not ready to do that, we are not the customers. So they have found another source of revenue, which is advertising. And all what these companies care about is to promote their products to as many people as possible. So news organizations left with no choice to make money but to grab as much attention as possible, even if that means dramatizing unnecessary news or only delivering the news that would get most views. And with the rise of internet, especially social media, that got even worse, because more people are scrolling through their newsfeed, which means less people watching TV. Internet has created a huge hole in their pocket, and now they have to find another way to make money, because online ads don't pay as much as TV ads. At their peak, a 30-second TV ad during a popular show would cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. But now with online ads, you can reach that number of viewers with a significantly smaller cost. What do you think most companies did? They turned to the internet. That forced news organizations to cut costs and focus more heavily on news that will generate more attention, even if they don't matter at all. Videos with a lot of controversial statements will easily get more attention than a carefully analyzed and researched content. Social media algorithms purposely promote content that you're more likely to watch. That's why fake news will easily get spread. We have created an environment where it's really difficult for a professional journalism to survive. So when you're watching the news, you're not really watching the news, but instead you're watching a carefully created story that has some truth to it, but it's designed in such a way to make you feel in a certain way so that you come back and watch more of it. If you follow the news in such an environment, you will most likely end up with a completely wrong perception about the world. That's why I stopped watching the news in general and follow only what affects my life directly, and I would encourage you to do the same because it saves a lot of time. Anyways, give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.